Hi moms, we have the privilege to talk to you today from EdUPro side, but also as two professionals being in practice and being moms ourselves. So today I have the privilege as Marene Jooste, registered kinderkineticist, to speak to Marene. Now Marene is an educational psychologist, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about herself before we jump in today's topic, and that will be burnout. Mommy burnout.
Yes. Good morning, moms. I'm Marene Jooste. I'm an educational psychologist. I've got a private practice, and I've also got 2 kids, which I feel has taught me more than any book I've ever read or studied. Today's topic is so relevant. We've just spoken about it, but don't we all just feel overwhelmed and emotionally and physically exhausted most of the time? It's been amplified by the lockdown, but this is a general thing. Yes. We see it on mommy comments, on the mommy groups. Yes. We see it in practice with the moms we work with. Marene, you've got a lot of special needs kids in your practice. The moms just feel exhausted.
No, definitely. This is a topic that I'm sure we can talk about for hours. And the thing is, we want to discuss this topic today. It's a discussion that we want you to join in. So this is not a black and white, more rules to be added to your life and more pressure to be added to you. This is what we have found to be some of the basic things to help us prevent burnout. And if you are in that burnout stage, how can you pull yourself from that? Because during lockdown, I really burned out completely. I remember at one point breaking down, crying, telling my husband, I have had enough. And I'm sure there's quite a lot of us that felt that way. Yeah. But I had to put certain things in place in order to restore the balance, so to speak, and in order to gain back my self-confidence and be worth the value that I add as a mom to the house. Because I feel if you're not the anchor, well, it's not the mom's responsibility to be the anchor in the house. Let me just say that. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to feel that if mommy is falling apart, the rest of the house will, or the world will fall apart. And I want you to quickly maybe share your story about how you put yourself in time out recently.
I just told Marene this.
Yeah.
So it was also over the lockdown period, but the one day I just had enough of everyone wanting a piece of me. Okay, so there were kids screaming and mommy help me with this and do this, and everyone just wanted a piece, and I didn't have any more to give. So I was replying to a question, but I was slamming the kitchen counter like this to like iterate every word that I'm saying, and I realized that I'm now out of control and that I need to just take myself away from the situation. So I jokingly said that I put myself in time out, and I went to the bathroom and I locked the door and I just sat on the floor, and I sat there for so long. But I just figured, who's going to ask, what are you doing inside of the bathroom? You know, no one's going to ask. So I just sat on the floor and I just took half an hour to gather myself and to feel in control again. So that is the worst thing, because that shows that I didn't take care of myself. I waited until I fell apart before I took
the action.
Before I took time for myself, which is ridiculous, because I heard kids screaming. I heard granny struggling with them. I heard my husband trying to get dinner ready, and I was just sitting on the floor.
Yeah, which I think is what a lot of us are doing, especially during COVID. But yeah, it does happen. And the thing is, what I found is we as mommies, we have so many roles and hats that we wear. You know, we are mom, or we are sister, like you said, Nana, or an aunt to someone, or you run a business, or you are employed, and then you have so many things to fulfill. And I think a lot of times there's this expectation of us, because we're known as multitask people, and it's not. I don't think it's fair to place that on us, to say, okay, because you're the multitasking, women in the house, please fulfill X, Y, Z. And then also the guilt and the burden that comes with the pressure that we put on ourselves to say, I need to X, Y, Z. Hey,
I totally agree with you saying we do it to ourselves. So I know that my husband don't expect me to do everything. I know that he will help if I ask him to help. I want him to sometimes just know what I'm thinking and do something without me asking for him to do it. But the reality is that I am the overthinker and the planner, and that I have to ask.
Yes, very
but
important.
I expect so much from myself. I expect to be the perfect mother. I expect myself to have the house running like an oiled machine. I expect myself to have everything under control that's got to do with the kids and their schooling and all of that. And I mean, with lockdown, we had an added role. Marene, we were becoming teachers in our house.
That was hectic.
Yes, and just being a therapist did not help my case. It did not make things better or easier for me. I felt so disappointed in myself at some stage, because I thought, how can I be in control of a classroom of 40 kids, but I cannot get my child to write these 5 sentences about the weekend. So it was such a unique challenge, because they don't see us as a teacher. We don't see ourselves as the teacher inside the home environment. So they had to adapt to that new role that we had to fulfill. We had to adapt to it. It was quite a challenge. And then you had to find the balance between, when am I the mom, when am I the teacher, when am I the employee, when am I the employer, whatever your roles might be. You struggled with boundaries, Marene.
Yeah, no, I had the case where because I'm working for myself and we run a practice, that I never knew when to shut down, and I didn't have, it was a very blurred line for me, so I kept working, and then I would quickly just shut down the computer for 5 minutes, run, feed the children, go back, and I know a lot of us, we did the same. I think it was important for me to realize at a stage that now I need to say, okay, this is what you need to put in place in order to prevent burnout, because I really truly felt like I couldn't do this anymore, and I think a lot of us are there. So for me it was important, first of all, to discuss that with my husband, and I know a lot of you are single moms, or you have a partner, or you stay with your grandmother, or whatever your situation is, but I feel it's important in the first place to speak about it as well, and to talk about it, to say, okay, this is where I am. Because remember, even if you're married, your husband doesn't necessarily know that you feel that way. If you feel you have to put the children in bed, and you have to bath them, and but you don't ask for help, or you don't communicate that through to him, he won't know that. So I had to sit down with my husband and say, listen, this is where I am, and he also had to tell me, you are not stopping your work, because I can become a workaholic as well. And I think it's important to recognize and know yourself, to see you're neglecting the basics, basics of stuff. Nutrition, maybe you can jump in and talk about that. Nutrition, sleep, we'll cover quite a lot, but basics, back to basics, is so important. We should not throw that away, on top of the boundaries that we need to put in place, on top of the roles that we need to fulfill. If we don't take care of ourselves, who will?
Yes, absolutely. So when we do an intake at the practice, we always start with basics. We ask the mom what the kids' nutrition looks like, but now I'm asking you, mommy, what does your nutrition look like? Are you eating the scraps and leftovers of your kids' plates and out of their lunch boxes because you don't have time, or you're not making your nutrition a priority? Or are you making sure that you are getting everything you need to be able to handle the stress and the roles and the responsibilities that you have?
Yes, definitely.
That is so important, and that's always where we start, because what you put in, you will get out. Okay, so make a plan, make that a priority. If you are on the go and you don't have time, Make sure that you do the smoothie thing. Make sure that you pre-pack a lunchbox for yourself. Why are you doing that for everyone else except for yourself? Why are you eating the scraps? And that's what I did. I did that so often. And then I realized that my energy is just not what it should be. And I made that a priority, and it made such a difference. The next basic thing is, are you getting enough sleep? Make sure that you prioritize your sleep. There's no use in working until late hours into the night, and then you're not rested the next day and you're not efficient at work. So rather get your 7 hours, and then you'll be more productive in everything else that you do. The third thing is exercise. So Marene can tell you so much about exercise, because her practice is all about movement and how that gets you healthy and relaxed and just going outside to see green. It relaxes you. It's a stress reliever. The fourth thing that I always look at is, what's your hobbies, the things that you do that you enjoy, that brings you joy and that recharges you. And the fifth thing is your community, your village that you build around yourself, your support network. Who do you talk to when you just need a shoulder? Or who do you ask if you're in a crisis and you need someone to pick up the kids? Who is your support network?
That's very important. And I want to touch base quickly. You talked about you need to be recharged for work. So oftentimes there's this misperception that if you stay at home mom, you have the world on your hands and the time
so
and
much
all
time.
that. You can paint your nails and whatever. And sometimes it's not the case at all. Most of the times it's not.
It's never the case.
You're also very, very, very busy. So on top of that, if you don't have a community or a network, and you don't have a purpose, you always talk about purpose as well. You need to have a purpose. So if you're a stay-at-home mom, and you close between 2 or 3 or 4 walls, and it's only you in the house, and the dishes and the laundry and all the things that you need
all
to
the
keep
responsibilities amplified.
Yes, exactly. And there's nothing else where you can tap into either a community group where you can join, or a church, or wherever you can slot in, where you can feel you can contribute and you can serve and have a purpose. Joy also lies in what you can give to others. But obviously you can't give if you're not full yourself. You can only overflow once you are filled up to the brim. And we need to look after ourselves and take care of ourselves. And we need to make that a priority. So what does self-care looks like for you?
We need to talk about that. Marene, let me just say that the guilt, that is a big contributor to burnout. And you talk now about a stay-at-home mom. You know how guilty stay-at-home moms can feel, or how guilty other moms can make them feel.
Yes, please don't.
About admitting that they need help. That is nonsense. I mean, we should not do that to each other.
I
we should not criticize someone that asks for help or that feels burnt out, even if they are stay-at-home. Their roles are so intense. They often have less help and support because they feel like they should do everything themselves, and that's not true at all. But we make them feel guilty. They feel guilty. We all feel guilty. From the first day that your baby's born, you start feeling guilty. Because that's just what we do. And that's one of the biggest contributor for me of burnout. So yes, definitely we should take care of ourselves. And what does that look like for me? I have realized that I need alone time. Locking that bathroom door gave me a bit of time to think about this and what I need to put in place so that I don't end up on that floor again. I need my own time. I need to put some time away every day that it's only me, no one needs me, it's quiet, no one is shouting in my ears. I don't think about work, I don't think about people, I don't think about family, just me. And I'm not talking about a bubble bath every now and again. That's not self-care. It needs to be much more than that. It needs to be a set appointment with yourself every single day. And you're not selfish to do this. You're not taking time away from your family. If your cup is full, exactly like you said, you've got more to give to your family. So for me, it's definitely that time for myself.
And be in the moment. You talked about being in the moment.
Having that time for yourself. You have to be in the moment. You shouldn't think about anything else. You should just enjoy being where you are. Having my own space, my own office space. No one gets in there. If it's my work time, I block out time, you know. This is my work time. This is my playtime with you. This is school time. And I keep to that because that really helps me with the boundaries that you spoke about. And it helps me to have my own space where they respect it and where they do something else when I'm in there. And also my own purpose. You already said something about that. I need to feel like I'm contributing outside of my family, outside of just being a mom. And I'm saying that tongue in the cheek, just being a mom. It's so much more than that small word, but I need to feel like I'm contributing, that I'm doing something. And if I have to delegate some of my responsibilities at home or some of my things, if I have to get someone to deliver cooked food for me because I'm not cooking today I'm at a community project or I'm working longer hours or I'm doing whatever, I need to be okay with that, and I shouldn't feel guilty for asking that help.
Yes, and we talked about, waking up 5 or 10 minutes earlier than your normal time to plan. And to just have in your head how you want this day more or less to go. Because planning is so important. We neglect planning. And yes, if you have toddlers around you and you're super tired, you don't want to go and plan your day. But if you have some sort of structure in place, if you declutter, because you can't think straight if there's too much clutter around you, too much noise. And again, it depends from personality to personality. I, for instance, recharge when I'm alone or I'm reading a book or I'm out in nature, we're walking around as a family. And then you get other people where they would like to go and drink coffee with a friend or friends. If that is what recharge you, go for that. But I feel what you were just saying is in the purpose or in the moment. I want to quickly recap. She goes for horse riding, for instance, once a week. And there she needs to be in the moment. Otherwise, she's going to fall off her horse.
I can't focus on anything else but being on that horse, staying on that horse, being in nature, just enjoying where I'm at. And I'm very precious about that time. I don't schedule anything else in that time. I don't move it out. I'm very precious about that time because I just feel like I've got so much more to give if I look after myself.
And all of that being said, quite a mouthful. We're running out of time. We would love for you to join our discussion. Please jump in, comment in the comment section. Tell us what you do, what you have found to be working for you guys. I found, as a Christian, that I need to anchor myself in the mornings. I need to go back to quiet time. If I don't start my day right, the rest of the day is chaos. But you can tell us what works for you. This is not a rule set. Let's keep it plain and simple. Let's enjoy our lives. Let's find back our joy. And thank you so much for having this couch discussion. We're going to put so many resources in the links. So keep an eye out for that. And
yes, we would like you to take part. So please comment. Tell us everything that you're wondering about. Tell us how you look after yourself. We will put links to articles, an article that we wrote about burnout.
Yes.
Marene's got lovely exercises that she did with kids, videos that you can get your kids and yourself going just to be more active, just to get moving. And and we'll see you in the next couch discussion. Remember, you are doing an amazing job.